So the microphone did definitely not pick that up, but we're rolling.
We're rolling.
All right. So I don't know exactly how this works, but I'm gonna start off, Ryan. I'm gonna ask you a question if that's okay. All right.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Is that all good?
That's all good.
All right. So I want to learn more about this podcast. So like, first question is why the name Unswamped? What is that?
It's like the opposite of being swamped. So,
okay. That's good.
Like,
Creative.
I've been like last year I was just like really busy, and I feel like I realized that there's other things in life that I wanted to prioritize, and so like Unswamped is just like not putting my like focus on like certain things as much, and like being less like stressed about everything.
Yeah. No, I respect that. That makes a lot of sense. Why are these guys laughing? All right. My next question about the podcast still was sorry, I'm a little sick. But what was I gonna ask? Oh yeah, so like this podcast, what is your goal with it? So like I think I kind of got an insight from what you were just saying, but like, are you trying to scale this eventually? Do you want to keep like the guests and listeners to like mostly your friends, or do you kind of want to branch out, or do you want to keep on doing this in college? Like, what's your plan?
My plan is probably just keep doing it, and I mean, like I started it partially because college apps, and because I wanted to do something for fun as well, and like honestly, like talking to people is like one of the most fun things, and like I'm like pretty shy, so like I don't like go out and talk to people. Like I know people do that at parties, but like I don't go to parties, so like talking to people on a podcast is just cool. Like and I love listening to podcasts, and so I'm just gonna like probably continue doing into college, and like if it gets bigger, then that's fine with me. Like talking to new people I meet, like professors or like whoever else.
Yeah.
I think is like what's in my head right now.
What kind of podcasts do you listen to?
I listen to a couple different podcasts. Like my favorite podcaster is Dax Shepard. He has a podcast called Armchair Expert.
I don't think I've heard of it.
And like I sometimes listen to Joe Rogan or Theo Vaughn.
Oh yeah, I listen to Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn.
I was listening to Joe Rogan, the David Goggins one. I think it's like 1080 something. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally like 2 days ago. It's very inspirational. I would 100% recommend it if you've never listened, or if anyone listening to this has never listened.
I listened to the ones with Trump and Vance a while ago,
Mm-hmm.
and then sometimes I'll listen if I know the person or if I think they're interesting, because he has some pretty cool people.
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
No, I feel like you don't really listen to it for Joe Rogan. You listen to it for the guests.
Yeah, for the
Mhm.
guys.
And then, wait, that also on that note though, he's talking about Trump and Vance. What are your political stances? I don't think I've known this, and I don't think I've ever heard you talk about this on the podcast. So I'm kind of
My
interested.
political stances.
Yeah.
I don't think I really have a political stance. Like honestly, do you have a political stance?
Yeah, I mean
Yes.
I do.
Like
but-
say you.
Well, no, I want to hear about yours first. And
Okay,
then,
sure.
And then we'll see.
I think I don't have a political stance because I don't care about politics. But
as Dr. Wilson would say.
yeah,
Privilege not being able
and I
to-
feel kind of bad about that, because it's like obviously like what happens out in the world like is influenced by politics, but I just don't feel like I'm influenced by it. Like
Yeah.
the only thing I remember like when I was small is my parents were telling me like school, like our schools are pretty like are pretty democratic.
Yeah.
And I remember like hearing in school that like they were like talking about like voting for like the Democratic people, and then I went home, and then my parents told me like, oh, they have like super high taxes, and I was like, oh, that's bad, so we have less money. But I don't feel like I don't think about how it actually impacts me. So
Yeah.
honestly, don't really have a political stance.
So, but like you gotta have like a stance on like certain policies, right? Like for example, I don't know, like say abortions. I know you're like really religious, so that's probably one thing. But like you probably have a stance on that, and there's also like immigration, like certain things like that. Would you not say you have a stance on?
I think I do, and like Gov has helped inform me to a certain extent, and like doing research for debate. With abortion, I don't like, my perspective on it is like right now is I think that people who get abortions aren't like bad people, that is not like killing a baby. Like I think that like depends on like what the term is. So if it's like longer, then it's more it's more sus. But with like I like you said, I'm like really religious. Like I've just kind of shifted from being like very Christian over the past 2 years, and so I don't
Shifted
being
away.
Christian?
Shifted away from being Christian.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Why is that? Like shift towards not.
Well, yeah, because that's interesting. Because for me, it's been the opposite. I've been getting more religious over time.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what's that been like for you?
For me, it's been like, it's just like I relied on it too much, and
In what way?
in like determining like how I interact with people, or determining like my beliefs, that
Like, oh, you're only gonna talk to Christian people, or like, you're just like.
or like I
How
felt
do you meet the right people, and then you kind of just like wait for it to happen, and then it doesn't happen, like that sort of thing.
like how more like how I live my life, like
Yeah.
just like
Good and bad, like the 10 Commandments and like
yeah.
following like things like in the Bible, I guess, right?
Yeah, like I think actually like one of the biggest, it was probably like more unconscious, was like trying to understand whether watching porn was good or not.
Yeah.
And like
From a religious.
from a religious standpoint, and religious like from a religious standpoint, it's like it's not good. And same thing with like looking at women with lust, or having sex before marriage, and in all these ways, like I was just questioning religion. And it's not to say I think porn is good. It's actually like more like after I figured out like, oh, this is how like my psychology works, and this is like having sexual impulses like normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Realizing I was like so dogmatic about it before is like one reason why like I've shifted away from being Christian, because I think I'm more happy, and I also believe in like, I don't really believe in the Bible as much, like with science and evolution.
Does that mean you don't believe in God at all, or where do you stand right now? That's kind of a loaded question.
That is very loaded.
I think God could exist.
That's so.
But I don't know.
You at 1.2 years ago would have been 100%. Yeah, God exists.
Aren't you still leading the Christian club?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Oh, like I still think like reading the Bible is good. Like the Bible isn't just like telling us the bad things. I think it's great, but just in terms of like the religious aspect of Christianity versus the moral aspect, that's where I question it more.
Well, here's the thing, because like I know like one big thing in Christianity is like Jesus, like if he died for our sins, right?
Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't that kind of like fix the moral issues in your head? Because you're saying that like oh yeah, like if you're lusting or like anything like that, you feel like you felt it was really bad, but then now you're realizing, okay, that those impulses are normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta know, like, that's normal for like every single person, right? Like that's normal for we have like 5 dudes sitting in this room. That's normal for everyone. That's normal for everyone else in this school. That's normal for literally everyone, right? Like including Christians, including Jews, Muslims, like every faith, every type of person is gonna feel like those same types of urges because it's like a human instinct. So if that's like a sin, but you know that Jesus died for those sins, it's not like, oh, you can just say, oh, I can do it as much as I want now just because those sins like are paid for. But it's to an extent, it's like, oh, like this is human nature. I'll try not to an extent, but it's like, but sometimes you know it's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then in those cases, because I know, for example, so like some religions, like in Islam, like there are certain things you do like you just can't be forgiven for. But the thing is, like Christianity, like no matter what you do, like you can get forgiven for if you're saying like, oh, if I'm repenting, if I believe in God.
Yeah.
So
for
like,
sure.
is that something that you're kind of considering when you're like talking about all this stuff?
Well, with Jesus, like if I believe Jesus was real and the science had credible evidence supporting that like the Bible and its history was real and that like Jesus truly did forgive all of our sins, I think I would take that perspective. But what I learned from porn was that like all it did for me, like embracing Christianity, was just like create a lot of guilt inside me. Like every time I shouted at my parents, I would feel guilty. Every time I watched porn, I'd feel guilty. Every time I wasn't like a kind person to someone, I'd feel guilty. And I was like, I'm trying to not do all these things. And there's like an element of like forgiveness and like accepting yourself that you need to take in order to like to create like patience or like take a healthy approach to like masturbation. And I feel like Christianity is like just keep trying not to sin. But I don't think these are necessarily like sins in the first, but I think like this it's guilt, and we should like do something, like take responsibility for our own lives to change it, instead of like saying like God will do it for us or Jesus will do it for us.
Well, okay, no, because I agree with that, but like for me, as a Christian, like obviously, I mean, like people look at things differently, but I mean, in my perspective, I think it's like it's kind of a mix of both, right? And I know like, yeah, you're a Christian for a long time, so you probably understand. But it's like some of that guilt, like for example, like you're saying shouting at your parents, right? Like, yeah, like I've done that a ton in the past. Like everyone has, right? But like, is it a bad thing to feel guilty about that? Because like in my opinion, I don't think so. Like when I'm mean to someone who like doesn't deserve it, even if they do deserve it, sometimes like I feel bad about it. Like I think. Like the more religious I've gotten, it's been like over time, like, oh, if someone cuts me off on the road, it's just kind of just like, you just gotta be patient about it. Or like someone like yells at you or does something or just like pisses you off in any way, you just kind of just like, you just try to like let it be and just like don't get angry. And that's like one thing I've seen that's like helped a bit. But yeah, I mean like feeling like guilty at certain things. I mean, I understand one thing we were talking about like porn, because that's a little different, because like it's like a recurring thing, and for like most people it's something that's gonna like keep on going. But is it that much different than something like shouting at someone? Because like when you do that, whether you're religious or not, most people will probably feel bad at yelling at their parents, right? Yeah. And yeah, you'll feel like a sense of guilt. So how different is that to what you're talking about? Yeah, in your opinion?
I mean, it's really complicated because I feel like it was like my transition away from religion has been like emotional and like intuitive rather than also it's been logical, like just like whether or not I believe in the Bible, like if it's real or not. But like with me shouting like at my parents, like I just felt like entrenched, like I couldn't do anything about it. Like this anger was something I kept like seeking forgiveness for, and like it I would feel super guilty, but then that feeling of just feeling bad would make me like want it, like more likely to do it again. And I think like if you take like a self-acceptance approach, being Christian or being religious, I feel like it's healthy. But for me, like I couldn't like believe in the Bible and like what the Bible says about like not committing sins, and also like have that kind of self-acceptance and like openness to the world. So that's, it's kind of weird because I'm not like 100% sure about it, but I would say like the perspective I have on life right now is like really similar to what Mr. D'Onofrio said, which is just like like he said, like Socrates said that like knowledge, or I think it was Socrates, that knowledge is virtue. So like if you seek knowledge, whether it be from the Bible or from people or from books or from like anything or your experience, like that can make you the best person you can be. And it could mean being religious, but I feel like for me, like the knowledge that of me understanding the Bible or like other things has not like led me toward virtue. So then like, so I feel like it that's why like I've transitioned away in part.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree to an extent. Like, there's a lot of like philosophy stuff I've been like interested in recently. Like, there's a lot of people on YouTube that I listen to, like not like video essays, kind of like I'll just like listen to them in the background, either like when I'm trying to fall asleep or I'm like not really doing anything. Like sometimes even in the car. But and yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like a lot of that, it's like you're learning knowledge, you're learning how people in the past like thought about certain things. You're learning about people now. You're learning about history, and like you can apply it to like a lot of different things. So, yeah, like you're saying, like religion, you can apply it to your life. You can apply it to psychology. There's in like a lot of other sciences, and there's a lot of stuff you can apply to, and like knowledge in general. I feel like it's yeah, like you're saying, yeah, knowledge is, what was it? Is a virtue? Is that what it said?
Knowledge is virtue.
And everyone seeks knowledge to an extent, but I feel like, yeah, the more you learn, it doesn't really matter what it is, the better you'll be informed to like make your own opinions on things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think balancing that with religion is also pretty interesting, but I mean, I feel like for me it hasn't really been a struggle, but I mean, yeah, I guess what you're saying, it's like, it seems like you're like that's what you want to rely on. Is that right? Or
yeah, or like are you saying like relying on the idea of like seeking out knowledge?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I think like, I mean, if you truly believe in the Bible and like you truly have like faith, mm-hmm. then like truth for you is like the sacrifice that Jesus made and like Christ's forgiveness. But if that's not truth for you, then I guess you seek truth in other ways. And honestly, like at the end of the day, I think for me, I just want to like find the truth. Like I don't, mm-hmm. that might mean being religious or believing in God, or it might not mean. And for me, like, for me at this point in life, it seems like it doesn't include being heavily religious, although like incorporating like Christianity into my life in some ways is I think beneficial.
Yeah. So like, what would you say are some of those ways? Like, do you still go to church, like, or do you read the Bible? Like how involved still are you? Because I know you're still running the Christian club. Yeah. And wait, before you answer that though, how long ago did you like? Because I know you're really religious at one point. So when did that start to like drift off again?
Like halfway through last year, I would say. Like it really, okay. Or maybe like, because last year I started like traveling a lot for speech and debate over the weekend, so I missed church a bunch. Mm-hmm. And during that time, I was like stressed and busy, and like my digestion was like I still have digestion problems, but like it was exacerbated the fact that I wasn't getting enough sleep and like worrying over like winning so much.
Yeah.
And so like in that time, like I was just reflecting, like what is the point of like going to church, or like what's the point of God, like, and like trying to pray more and like read the Bible. And I think it started like kind of in the summer before that as well. And then like throughout the course of the past summer, that's like when I decided like I don't think I derive value from going to church. Like it feels so much more dogmatic, and it could just be my church.
Mm-hmm. What church did you like? Were you Catholic or?
No, I was like Protestant. Our church is Chinese.
Okay.
So
Is it all Chinese people?
It's all Chinese people. So
interesting. Okay.
So it's like, but it's like Baptist, kind of like Protestant.
Okay.
And yeah, it felt really dogmatic. Like I would talk to like different people and like ask them like, so what do you believe about like the 7-day creation? And one of my pastors would said like, oh, I believe it's true. The Bible is the word of God. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then I talked to someone else like, oh no, this is like, if we look at evolution, like it matches up with evolution. And then I would say, ask someone else, and they're like, oh, evolution is fake. But like, these 7 days, like, yeah.
Sorry, that was one thing I was gonna say, because I'm not Christian, but I'm I not really believe in one specific thing, but I'm Jewish, like ethnically, and so I kind of identify with that. Mm-hmm. And especially in the past year, I've been more spiritually, I guess, connected to it too. And the Jewish religion is really based off tradition because it's such an old religion. And there's a lot of things that with that is up to, like I said, tradition and then interpretation as well. So how like people interpret, like rabbis interpret the Torah, the Old Testament. And then because what I noticed, so I was in Israel over December, over Christmas break, and there's a lot of the way, it was just really interesting to me the way the really religious Jewish people dressed. And I was like, why are they dressing like this? Is it because God said so? And and I looked it up, and a lot of it's just because of, like I said, like there was a rabbi a couple hundred years ago who said, this is what we should do. And then with it, so I think that's the thing with religion, is that there's a lot you can leave it up to interpretation. Yeah. But the one thing I never understood, I guess primarily with Christianity, which is because you see that a lot in America, is just, following one thing that the Bible says, but not another thing. Because I feel like if you believe in the Bible, then you got to believe in everything that it says. So like some people will be like, well, no, I think gay marriage shouldn't be legal because the Bible says it's a sin, but then they don't listen to everything the Bible says. Something else, they'll like be super lustful, like you're saying, or they'll purposely, like I know gossiping is a sin, or that sort of thing. So it's well, you can't point at homosexuality and be like, well, you can't do that, that's a sin, when meanwhile you're not listening to everything the Bible says.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's another thing I remember in the past of like I've talked about, but I think that's like that kind of goes back to what I was talking to like Ryan about earlier, and like how it's tied back to like Jesus died for your sins. So the whole point is that there's a lot of sins. Most people will never read the whole Bible. Most people won't ever know everything inside the Bible. But I think if you want to be like a good practicing Christian, and that's another thing. There are a lot of people who are Christian. They say they're Christian, Catholic. They say they're whatever, and they don't fully go by it. And those people just they aren't. Like they can say they're Christian as much as they want, but like when you get down to it, they really aren't a Christian, or they don't practice the religion that they say they do.
Because it's almost like a trend a little bit.
Yeah, because there's people.
Some people think it's cool, like
like
verse in there.
Exactly, like we've mentioned that before. Like like girls guys too. There's a lot of people who put like Bible verses in their bio, and they're like the least Christian people you've ever met. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to be here to judge you for that. I mean, sure, I think it's good that you're spreading that around, but it's like you can't say you're a Christian when you're not. But the thing is, it's even like for me, like I sin. So does everyone. Like, you can never fully be a Christian until you understand as much about the Bible as you can, and you like put your faith into God. Because like what you're saying before, like there's a lot of things. Actually, I don't remember exactly how it relates to what you were saying before, but I remember at the time it made sense. But it's like faith is a big thing. It's like you just have to believe, and I mean, there's a lot of historical evidence. There's a lot of like accounts about it, but the biggest part is just faith.
Yeah.
And but I mean that also goes back to there's another thing I wanted to mention about like the 7-day creation you were talking about. I was literally talking about some of my friends about this yesterday after church, and we were saying that, like, I mean, everyone has like different opinions, but in my opinion, I think, like, I believe in science. I think everyone should, because it's real, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of things written in the Bible that people kind of like misuse, and there's also a lot of things that aren't written in the Bible that people think are part of it. So the 7-day creation, I know that's like it's a big story people throw around, but the thing is, it's sure it was built in 7 days, but there's no date. Like, if you actually read the story, there's no date that says, okay, this was exactly 6,000 years ago, and the Earth is only 6,000 years old. There's a lot of Christians who believe that that's what it says, but it's like, you can go read it for yourself. That's not what it says. There's nowhere in the Bible that says the Earth is 6,000 years old. If you look at like rocks down like by the core, if you use like those drilling, whatever, carbon dating, Earth is like what, like 5 billion years old, something like that, right? And yeah, I'm saying, like, religion and science, from the way I see it, they go in harmony. Like, you don't have to believe in one that just completely contradicts the other, because they shouldn't contradict each other. If the religion is true, then there shouldn't be any science that completely contradicts it. And obviously there's going to be some parts that, I mean, a lot of these accounts are written, they're not written by God. I mean, at least in the Bible, maybe the Quran or something's different. I think that's all written by Muhammad, so it's probably a little different. But at least in the Bible, everything's written by different people. There's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Obviously, you know. There's people who live 50 years after, people live 100 years after. There's like letters to the Romans, Corinthians. Those are written like 1,000 years after Jesus lived. So these are written by people who are just like you and me. They're not holy people. So I mean they're holy, but it's like it's up to debate. And a lot of these books that are included in the Bible are just historical accounts. And obviously, you know, over time we learn new things about science. We learn like different things, and that's why I feel like some things shouldn't be taken too literally when they're not written directly about Jesus. Like, for example, like letters to Corinthians, those are more about how to run a church. Like that's what the whole book is about. But then if you want to go back, you look at like the first books in the New Testament, like Matthew, that's just all about Jesus' life. So I think if you're going to read a part of the Bible, if you want to follow a part of the Bible, that's like what you should read and follow. Because everything before that, it's all historical accounts before Jesus. And there are some pretty important stories in there if you're religious, like about Moses and a lot of other figures and events, like Noah's Ark. But in my opinion, I feel like science doesn't necessarily need a contradiction that.
Yeah.
There's also one other thing, like what Sammie was saying before. Like you were saying in like Judaism, a big thing is tradition, right? And that's one thing. And that goes back to what you were saying too, Ryan, about like your church. And I feel like tradition is a big thing in a lot of religions, but in my opinion, I don't think it's that important. Like what I was saying is, like, you read the Bible, you look at Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you look at Jesus' life, you look at the story behind it, how you apply it to your life, and if you do the best you can at that, then I think that's what makes you a true Christian. I don't think going to a Catholic church makes you more Christian than someone who goes to a Protestant church and someone who goes to an evangelical church. I don't think any of that matters. The main thing is just you read the Bible, you believe in it, you believe Jesus died for your sins, and you follow his life and his commandments to the best of your ability. And when you don't, you repent, and that's kind of the whole thing about Christianity. So I think...
Do you feel like people can live like a fulfilling life without being Christian?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think...
So what role, like, do you think Christianity plays in people's life?
So, yeah, okay, so I think that definitely depends on the person. So, I mean, in my life, I feel like I go to it when... I mean, either in good or bad times. There's a lot of people who, like we were talking about before, who aren't, like, fully Christian. They say they're Christian. They don't really follow Jesus' word or anything in the Bible. So... For those types of people, they'll follow it, and then whenever they're going through a bad time, they'll just be like, "Oh, Jesus, please!" Like, they'll pray, and they're like, "I need help with this. I need help with that," and I feel like that's a pretty bad way of going about religion. And another thing, like I said before, I'm not here to judge anyone, but it's just like, if you want to be a good Christian, there's in some ways there's objective and subjective, and that's pretty objective that's a pretty bad way to go about religion. And I feel like the biggest thing, like I said before, is faith. So it's like I feel like for me it's helped a lot with just going through life and like having things happen to me, whether, like I said, whether that be good or bad. Like when something good happens to me, I'm like, I have someone to thank for that. And then when something goes bad, I'm like, it helps look into the future. Like, I know that something, just because this bad thing happened, I know that in the future good things will come. And I feel like it gets rid of like a lot of like anxiety that people have like about their future. And I know that's like the whole big thing about life is like people worry about their future. Like right now in high school, everyone's wondering, oh, where am I going to go to college? When you're in college, you're like, oh, where am I going to go to get a job? Where am I going to go to grad school? When I'm there, like, I need to get a 4.0. Like, everyone's going to be looking towards the next thing. And once you're in your job, you're like, oh, when can I retire? And it's always a cycle. So I think it helps a lot with, okay, my future, like, God has a plan for my future. I'm going to keep on doing the best I can for him, and he'll give me back something good in return. Whether that be exactly what I want it to be or not, I know that in the end it'll work out, and that, yeah, that's, I feel like that's pretty much the biggest thing.
Yeah. For me, I think like what you said, like I can relate to that, the idea of like keep like always like having like stuff that I want in the future, and just not being present. But for me, like, I think being Christian, like it was always like, how can I love God more? How can I like serve my church more? How can I like be a better Christian? And that for me, like, I think kept on like delaying my life, and it was harder for me to be present. But like as you were saying, like if that works for you, and like it gives you a sense of peace and the ability to be present, then I think that's like honestly like a really great thing, like, and it's healthy. But another thing, like, would you want to say something?
Oh yeah, I was gonna respond really quick, because like if you ever go back to Christianity, which I mean I hope you do, but I feel like a big thing to remember, and like something that might help out with like what seems to be like some of your problems with Christianity, is when you go back, don't go back to like a church and be like, oh, this is the church I want to serve. So you go to a church, and I feel like it's kind of dangerous just to go into a church and be like, whatever they say here, this is what I'm going to follow. I'm going to be donating all my money to them. And it's like, I feel like I said before, that's not really the end goal. I feel like the biggest part is on your own, just like finding faith through the Bible. And I feel like a big thing for me, because I grew up Catholic, and when I was young, I didn't really know. I mean, I would go to church, but like I wouldn't pay attention or anything. It's like a little kid, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's what a lot of kids I go through who like either are or aren't religious. A lot of people grow up in some sort of church, usually Catholic in San Diego here. But yeah, that's what my experience. I grew up, I wasn't that religious. I'm like, I don't know why I keep on going to church, because my parents are dragging me there. I'm like, I don't really want to go. But it wasn't something I completely resented. I'm like, it's kind of whatever. But then as I got older, maybe like 13, 14, maybe even a little younger, 12, 10, whatever, I feel like that's the age where you kind of start to think for yourself, and you kind of start making some of your own decisions. And that's when I was like, you know what, I don't want to be a Christian. Like, I don't want to be Catholic. I don't want to, like, I don't believe in God. That was pretty much my thing. I'm like, and I'm fine with that. And for me, for a while, I'm like, yeah, I don't really believe. It's kind of whatever. But then I think probably when I was 16, it's probably around like 2 years ago, I started to be like, okay, maybe there's a God. And I started to think about it again. And I got to the point where like, okay, I think I'm like agnostic. Like, I think I believe in God, but I'm not really tied to a religion, just because my whole thing in the past was like religion's used for a lot, like in the past, like people use like church for like as an excuse for war. They use it as an excuse for slavery. Like, there's a lot of like things that churches endorse that just don't follow what the Bible says or what Jesus would have advocated for, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's why. So right now, the church that I usually go to, I feel like it's helped a lot with those like issues I found in the past, because it's like a non-denominational church. Just, you have a pastor who's, I mean, yeah, like he has a wife and kids, but he just goes up there, he preaches, he just reads the Bible, he interprets it, like, but it's not like he's gonna read the Bible and give some wild interpretation. He's just gonna, it's very, very traditional, and then, but it's more fun. It's less like, it's more relaxed, and it's less based on tradition, which is the biggest thing for me. Because like I said in the past, like before, like in the past, the Catholic Church was like used for the Crusades, right? And like, I still go to Catholic church every once in a while because my dad does, my brother does. So I'm like, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, because like 1,500 years ago, just because there's Crusades, or like 500 years ago, doesn't mean that the priest at my local church is a bad guy, right? Like, I'm sure that he's a great guy. He's probably done way less bad than most people have. He's like devoting his life as much of it as he can to like God, what he believes is a good cause, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, the establishment of a church isn't, in my opinion, the best way to go about religion, but I feel like it's just living by faith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think it's wherever you feel closest to God, I guess. Because I was listening to this podcast once, and he gave the quote that this kid went up to his dad, and he was like, "Oh, I go out in the woods to talk to God or to pray." And the dad was like, "Oh, well, why do you go out into the woods? God is the same everywhere." And then the kid was like, "Well, I'm not." So I think it's like, if you like church and you feel like that's where you learn and feel most connected, then that's where you should go, or I don't know, for you, whatever.
Yeah.
If it's you go out for a hike and then you see, because honestly for me, that's where I feel like there's certain things where I would start to think more about the existence of God. So it's like, especially, I mean, it's hard to look at nature and be like, this happened by chance, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you look at the mountains, you're like, this. So sometimes I look at that, I'm like,
yeah, wow,
you know what I mean? Or sometimes, and for also stuff that's happened too, like when I was in Israel, like at the Western Wall, the fact that it's stood up there for thousands and thousands of years, and the fact that we went to the Holocaust Museum, and then the ending's really nice because you end with the view of Jerusalem, and you're just like, that, you know, there seems like there might be something behind it, you know, like the fact that I'm here right now, the fact that this city is still standing, and it is the way that it is now, you know.
Yeah. No, I feel like, no, I 100% agree. Like, I feel like the most important part, like you were saying, is it's about how you feel connected to God. So for you, if you, like, for example, like for you, Ryan, if you're saying in the past that you felt that the more you just have more and more guilt over sin, I feel like that's obviously not healthy, right? And I think you realize that, and that's kind of why you strayed away from religion.
Yeah.
But I feel like what I'm trying to say is that a lot of churches will do that. But like I was saying, I feel like if you go to a Catholic church, you could be a great Christian, you could be a great person, like I was saying. But so it's not necessarily that, okay, that's a bad thing. Like that's a bad thing to go to. Don't do it. But what I'm saying is that I feel like for me, and I don't want to say it's universally true, but I feel like for anyone who does believe in God, or anyone who does want to be Christian, I feel like in my opinion, the best way, like I was saying, is literally just to read the Bible and live by Jesus' example. And like Sammie was saying, if a church helps you do that, then that's great. But it doesn't have to. So it's, in my opinion, it's not like I have to go to this church and I have to listen to all these people, like you're talking about, like you're talking people from your church, and they were talking about the 7-day creation and how a ton of them disagreed, right? And that's another thing, like that we mentioned before. It's that some people just like don't live by what they say they live by, and you'll find a lot of those types of people out of church, and that's okay, because some of them are trying to get better. They're trying to become better people. Some of them genuinely think that they are, but they aren't. That's probably me too. I mean, like, I'm not a perfect person. I never will be, but I feel like one thing that's getting me through just like life in general, like day by day, is just like I want to be a better person. I want to learn more. I want to get closer to God. And yeah, I feel like I don't need a church to do that.
Yeah. When I had I think when I felt like I had a lot of faith, and like I felt like I was pouring myself into all the things I could be doing, like worship, reading the Bible, prayer. That's when I was like, I feel like that's like when I had the most pride, because like I just felt like I was better than everyone else, and that's like something that I find problematic with like people who are like super Christian. Like, it's easy to get dogmatic about like your beliefs and like say other people are wrong, and it's like, for me, it was just hard interacting with people without comparing myself to other people. And I feel like most normal kids who grow up like without religion usually don't think about that. But for me, it was like, man, these people are sinning, or like they're not like doing as much worship as me or doing as much prayer as me. And so like I realized that was just like taking away from me, and like it was unhealthy. And so that I think that like emotionally I just didn't feel good about it. But I also think that when you say like reading the Bible and like following Jesus' example, like I think what's right is like learning from Jesus' example and like deriving your truth from that. Like if what he does is what you believe to be true, then you should follow that example. But if you use like another like book as like a source of truth as well, like combining those like that knowledge together, I think is better than like just taking the Bible as the only source of knowledge. Because
so like, are you saying like you'd rather treat it like just a historical text and be like, I want to read about this guy's life, and I feel like I can take pieces that I think are good, but then I can also do that for other books, other historical texts.
Yeah, and it's just like it's hard to like, I feel like it's hard to say that to Christians, because like if you truly believe this text is like the divine truth, then like it doesn't matter like what this other like self-help book says, or like like what the Quran might say. Like the Bible is where it's at. Like the Bible is everything.
No, I mean like from my perspective, I mean what you're saying to me is like true to an extent about Christians. Like, yeah, sure, I try to follow the Bible the best I can, but at the same time it's not like I don't want to read other books. I don't want to like you're like self-help books, the Quran. Like one thing as a Christian I think is actually would be like is a great thing to do, whether you're a Christian or not, but especially for Christians, is read the Quran. And because I know I've read parts of it. I haven't read the whole thing. I haven't even read the whole Bible either, so it's not like I'm perfect. But when you read the Quran versus the Bible, just I think you'll come to find a lot of differences between the two, and you'll probably be able to come up with your own conclusion. Like you'll be able to come up with your like a decision. Like once you read the two, you're like, if I have to choose between Islam and Christianity, like you'll have a pretty easy answer between the two. Yeah. But the thing is, I don't think it's bad at all to read like you're saying self-help books or anything, because like I was saying before, I listen to a lot of like video essays on philosophy and stuff, and a lot of them completely contradict Christianity, just because that's how philosophers in the past have gone about things, right? And I think it's good to have, because a lot of these philosophers, sure, they're not Jesus, obviously, and they're not God, but they have like good thoughts, and it's interesting to hear, like whether you want to follow them or not, and whether you do follow them or not. A lot of their thoughts are really interesting. Like there's this one philosopher, I can't remember his name, but I listened to this like whole video about him, and he's talking about how he thinks that not giving to the poor is is like the worst thing you can do in your life. Like, so for example, if like out of the three of us here, we all go to Parker, we're all wearing like pretty expensive shoes, like your hoodie probably costs like $50, but here's the thing, what's stopping you from going to Goodwill or something and buying like a $5 hoodie? There's nothing stopping you, right? So this guy's philosophy, it's really, really extreme, but it's like you have to put yourself to the same level of the people that you should be helping. So in this case, if you know that there's people in San Diego who are living on the streets, then you should give away enough money until you're on the same level as them. And that if everyone across the world does this, then we'll all... I mean, it's basically communism. It's pretty much just communism. But the thing is, the only difference between this is that it's like self-regulated. It's that you want to do this on your own. And that's like another thing about Christianity. It's like they talk about you should give like 10% of your income in tithes. I think it's 10%. Yeah. But it's not socialism, because it's not like someone's forcing you to do it. Like you should want to do this out of your own will. Like you should want to help people. So that's the thing about like Christianity, like tithes. But that's just relating back to religion. But yeah, like I'm saying, like there's a lot of these philosophers that have crazy ideas. A lot of them are less crazy than that, but it's good to understand those. It's good to hear them, to learn them, and even live by some of them, because a lot of them do overlap with religion. Like good morals across the world, whether you're religious or not, a lot of those good morals will overlap. I think if you go to almost any country in the world, you can say that morally you should not kill someone, or morally you should not steal other people's things. And obviously there's exceptions to that, but I would say over 90% of the world agrees on that.
Yep.
So it's I'm not saying that the Bible's the only thing you should read. The Bible's the only thing I live by. And I think it's an important thing to live by, but it's not that everything else is useless. Other things have like immense value. Other things are really important to read and learn about, whether you do live by them or not. But yeah, that's kind of my view on harmonizing like history and philosophy and all that stuff with Christianity or just religion in general.
Sammie, you said that you didn't like grow up too religious. Like you're Jewish, but you're not like super religious. Like what's your like philosophy of life? Like what do you think? Like how do you pursue meaning?
Like my meaning in life?
Yeah. Like yeah, I guess I don't know like what it feels like to not like have like this idea that like you have to of like pursuing meaning, because like being religious, like you're just taught that like the goal in life is just like following God. But like when you grow up without like a framework for what to do, like how do you go about living life?
That's it's kind of hard to answer that question because it's just so normal. Like to me, it's just
Day by day.
I just live my life like. I mean, obviously, I try to be a good person. Like the umbrella of what a good person is, you know. And then I guess it's really just societal because I've been going to Parker my whole life. So my purpose for the past 13 years has been, I mean, you know, what you're expected to do when you go to, like, when you live the life that we, outside of religion, that we all share. So you getting good grades and trying to be good at whatever I do. So I used to play baseball, and you know that was my thing for a while. And then I switched to cross country and track. And then for a while it was like, okay, well I want to run in college. So that was what I was trying to do. And then that's not the same now. But now it's like. And then now I think and then for a while it's going to just shift to being now obviously getting into college and then choosing where I'm going to go and then doing what I like and trying to be successful is just what's important to me, because that's what I was saying earlier. It's like I wonder sometimes with people who are super religious. Like my girlfriend's pretty religious, and she has a friend that's really religious. And then she was showing me a paragraph that her friend sent her the other day, and she was like freaking out and telling my girlfriend about a story that happened with this guy, and she was like, "Well, I learned that I should just, like this is all part of God's plan, and I should just let God take the wheel." And then she's like really religious, and so I wonder I just think when it gets to that level. What do you expect of yourself if you just expect everything is part of God's plan? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing about that is that there's a big thing about in Christianity. It's like you have to use your talents to the best of your ability. So it's not that like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and let God do everything for me. And I mean that's like you're saying, that's to an extent people do that, and no Christian is perfect, like we were talking about before. So there's a lot of people who overuse that. So maybe that's an example of that. I don't know the situation, but there's a lot of people that, okay, I'm just going to let God do everything.
That might have been an exaggeration. What she said. I think.
But yeah, like a big thing is that like I'm going to do the best I can at everything I do. And in return, then God will do what's best for me. Because like,
yeah, I mean,
like I know Ryan, especially like, because in Christian Club, literally like, I don't know, a few meetings ago at the beginning of this year, we talked about that. There's like the story of the I don't remember what's called, but it's like you have to use your talents to the best of your ability is basically the moral of the story. And if not, then God will punish you. Except I think that was in the Old Testament, right? So I think that's a little different now, because it's like, if Jesus died for your sins, then you're not going to just like get killed by God if you do bad things. But yeah, I think that's the main thing about that.
I mean, one thing I'll say is the past year since the war with like Israel and Palestine has started, and I've really started to connect to Israel specifically, but then Judaism as a whole. I've really thought about, because I take a pretty like I want peace. Like, I'm not super radical about the way I think. And so I was talking to my dad about this the other day, and I was just thinking, like, I would love to just be able to talk to people on the other side, and to go into places where people hate Israel and hate the Jews and stuff like that, and just be able to connect with people. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that kind of connects. In Judaism, people like you'll hear people villainize this, but I mean, I guess in Christianity too, the Jewish people are like God's chosen people. And you can take that in like a villainizing way. Like, I've seen that a lot recently, where people take that as we're egotistical and we think we're above everybody else. Or you could take that, and like, I was listening to a YouTube video where a rabbi was on the street and somebody asked him the question, like, when you say you guys are God's chosen people, what does that mean? And it's just like, I guess it's very similar to Christianity. It's just he chose us to be a light to this world, and to serve him and make the world a better place. And so sometimes I think that doing that sort of thing is trying to bring peace to especially that region, and just in general, I think would be really cool, and something that would kind of go with that, like finding purpose and serving God as a Jewish person.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But I get, that's the thing. I mean, obviously, with Judaism, the Torah is just the Old Testament, pretty much. So there's the beliefs of like somebody who's pretty Christian and somebody who's pretty Jewish. The basis is pretty similar.
Yeah, it's gonna be very, very similar.
Yeah.
Like, one thing that I at my church, I think it was last weekend, the pastor was talking about how he was talking about like Jewish people and the difference between the two, and he was pretty much saying that what happened was, because like Ryan, I'm sure you know, Sammie, you might know, Christianity, there's the whole belief in the second coming, right, of Jesus, or just in God in human form.
Yeah.
So the way he explained, I don't know if this is a
No, nothing.
I don't know if this is a belief of like all Christians or if this is just his interpretation, but I thought it was kind of interesting. And he's pretty much saying that Jesus is the first coming of Christ, as pretty much all Christians agree with. I mean, if you're a Christian, then you do agree with that. Mm. But and then you're waiting on the second coming, right? And a lot of Christians know that the second coming in the Bible, they talk about a lot how it's going to be like very violent. The whole world is going to like turn upside down, and everyone is going to like submit to God. And that's like the whole thing. Like every single person on this world like is going to know that he's here, and that he exists pretty much. And then, but the thing is, Jews, they believe, like in the Old Testament, it talked about the second coming as well, even though the first coming hadn't come yet. And I think that's a big reason why the Jews believe that Jesus wasn't a Messiah, because a lot of, so like the whole understanding of Jews with the Messiah is that he'll come down and everyone is going to know that he's God and he's going to make an earthly kingdom. And that's that's literally what the second coming that Christians believe is.
Yeah.
So, from my understanding and from the way my pastor explained it, from his understanding, which is my understanding now,
Okay.
is that the Jews believed that there was only going to be one coming of Christ, and that it was going to look like what Christians believe the second coming to look like. So, Jews believed that God would come down on earth, create an earthly kingdom, everyone would know who he was, and everyone would submit to him. And that didn't happen with Jesus.
Yeah.
So now all these Jews are like, so that's not God. I mean, I think he's a great person, but he's not God. Because they're expecting the second coming to be God with what Christians believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of the, like Sammie was saying, a lot of those beliefs are tied underneath, but I think it's just interesting to see like the difference between those two. And I'm sure, Ryan, you probably know more than me about like a lot of these stories of Christianity too, because I don't.
Not really.
No, okay. Because I've read some of the Bible, but it's not like I've read all of it or close to all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I eventually want to read all of it. I've been trying to, but yeah, it's not something that I always do as often as I think I should. But yeah, I mean, well, what do you think about that as a Jew?
Yeah, there's some things that didn't happen when Jesus came the first time that Jews believe the Messiah would do when he does come. So I think it's like, I don't know exactly, but I think like something with the second temple or the third temple being rebuilt in Jerusalem.
Yeah. A big thing is like they thought that he would be a king.
Yeah.
Like he would sit in a throne and like rule over Jerusalem, like rule over like Israel, like.
Yeah, I think
that was a big thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's what Christians think is coming in the second coming.
So yeah,
but yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, that's like just what you were saying. It's because that was part of the video I watched the other day, where people were asking the rabbi like, why don't you guys believe in Jesus? And the main thing was just that these things didn't happen when Jesus came the first time. So then he can't really be the Messiah, the Savior.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I can understand that, but.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any thoughts, Ryan?
Can I ask you guys about running?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys like running?
No.
No?
No.
Damn, okay.
Well,
no.
We do.
We did
appreciate
for.
it.
And I appreciate it for what it is. Like, I think it's great to get me in shape. I've gained, I think, 6, 7, 8 pounds over the last like 3 months, 4 months.
Me too.
Yeah, Sammie as well.
Yeah.
And it's because we haven't been running. And just so I definitely think it's a great thing for my health. I do need to get back into it. I have been this past like 2-3 weeks. I will the rest of the season, hopefully. Oh my God, it's my boy Dean. Wait, guys. Let's just pause real quick. Just look at the door. Wait. It's Dean! You see Dean?
He just went.
Did he?
Yeah, he went.
Oh shit. When he comes back, I'll wave to him again. All right. Well, sorry to interrupt. What was I saying? I was saying running is a great thing to like get us in shape. But I feel like the reason why I got into it, the reason I enjoyed it for so long, and it's the same reason why I don't really enjoy it right now, is with the community. So it's like when I joined running, I was with my brother. We had great seniors. It helped me meet new people, especially at Parker, like coming in as a freshman.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing with Sammie, but it's like we came in, like you start to meet people. Like I met Sammie through freshman cross country.
Yeah.
So I feel like meeting new people, making new friends, and then having practice kind of be your social hour was kind of the reason why I enjoyed it so much, because I'd show up to practice, and then all of a sudden I'd be with all my new friends. And I'd talk to them, and we'd hang out, we'd have fun. Even though the running sucked at first, like, I really enjoyed being around these people, so I kept on showing up, and eventually I kind of got into shape, and then once you're in shape, it's really not that bad.
How long does it take for you to get in shape?
I would say...
I mean, it depends on who it is.
Depends on who. So I think for me as a freshman, that took me a while. That probably took me 2-3 months of like running every day, like almost either every day or 6 days a week. So that took a while, but then after that, maintaining your fitness is not that hard as long as you're consistent. But obviously, like we're saying, we have not been consistent recently. So I'm pretty slow right now. Like I'm almost as slow as my 5K PR was a freshman year. But the thing is, like, gaining that fitness back is really not that hard. Like I can go back for probably, if I do 3 weeks of training every single day, like on a good schedule, then I could probably get my 5K down 40 seconds.
Do you do any
a lot?
Do you do any weight training or just like?
For running, I used to a little bit. It's like I used to do like legs and stuff. Like
They had us do weight room during cross country. Like,
Yeah.
twice a week.
yeah. So like during cross country, it's more of a big thing. Track is more individual. We don't really do as much with the team, but
It's a lot of injury prevention because
Yeah.
you strengthen your joints and your knees and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
a big thing's like Achilles and like shin splints.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people who are new to running get those. So I feel like that's a big thing. Just like injury prevention for those.
Yeah.
But just weights in general. Like I lifted before but before I became a runner, like I only lifted, and I was like one of those guys. I'm just gonna bench as much as I can, and like even this past summer, like I didn't run that much, but I went to the gym like pretty much every day with Sammie and like Ellis, and yeah, we would just go and like it's nothing about running, but it's just staying in shape.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I go to the gym. I mean, same thing with Sammie. He'll go to the gym, but it's most of the time it's not about running if we are going.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but if you are a serious runner, if you want to be the best runner you can be, then weights are usually part of your routine. I'd say like most top runners have some sort of like weights or gym sessions in their training, but not all. There's definitely some pros who like never touched a barbell in their life. So
Well, for me, it was about just my career in general. It was kind of like, it was all about expectation, kind of. Like, it's kind of like it was like a stock, you know, like it's all about expectation. So freshman year, we were kind of hoping to win state, and then I was pretty good off the bat freshman year, so I was like, okay, maybe I could take this to college. And then the more I went throughout high school, and the more that became less of an expectation, and I started to realize that wasn't going to happen, then the more I started to resent running and just not enjoy it as much. Because that was like, it was super exciting for me for the first year, and that's when I trained the hardest, because I was like, I want to get out there, I want to get my name out there as soon as possible. And then when that started to die down, so did my love for running.
Yeah.
And then, but it would pick up, like Evan was saying, like this summer we didn't run much, and then we came back to cross country, and we knew we had a good team. So then it's like, all right, we have a chance to qualify for state and do good, and then you get back into it. So for me, it was all about just having something to do it for, because running, especially the way we were doing it with workouts and you're doing fast stuff, because I think for me going into the future, I'm going to keep running. Like Evan was saying, it's good for you, and I still enjoy it, but not like we were doing before. Like before, it'd be 2 workouts a week where you're going fast, you're pushing yourself, and then a race. And that's when it becomes enjoyable, and it starts to suck a little bit. So so going into the future, like I'll maybe do slower runs just to chill and get some exercise in. But
yeah, because like once you're in shape, like I was saying, those runs are not that bad. Like, and a lot of times they can get pretty enjoyable, especially when you're running for a long distance. You're not running that fast. Like, you're either listening to good music, you're talking to friends, like whatever that might be for you, or even if you're by yourself in silence, it's like it's kind of just like it's just, it can be relaxing, and it's like you're kind of getting away from everything.
Okay.
So it can definitely be a good thing in that way. But like Sam was saying, I think in the future I want to focus a little less on racing, especially as my high school career is coming to an end, and I know that I'm not going to run in college. I mean, I might, probably not, but I know I definitely do want to do like a run club, just because it's fun. There's no expectations. I can kind of just go out there and meet people. I think that's kind of the whole thing about running that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Without having like put stress and like, oh, I need to help my team qualify for state. I need to run this time.
Yeah.
I need to do at least 2 workouts a week plus a long run.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, but the whole thing about running is I think it helps build discipline. And if you have that discipline, then that'll keep you motivated. Because like what Sammie is saying is he had motivation to run his freshman year because he wanted to go to college. And I think that's a big thing about running or any endurance sport is there's a difference between motivation and discipline. So like motivation, you have something to look forward to. Okay, like I'm gonna do good just because I have this to look forward to. But then once that thing happens, you don't have any more motivation. And I mean, and I'm not. And the best way to do it is you have discipline. You're like, for example, like my brother, he runs every day for the past bajillion years. I don't know. He's like 20 years old since 18 years since he was in 8th grade. He's been running, pretty much, like on a consistent schedule.
How long does he run for, or how much?
It depends. Like it's the same. Like for him, it's kind of like what we were talking about. He still does workouts every week. He does long runs. He does easy runs. So it depends. But
Like
he has
60 miles a week, right?
60.
60, yeah.
Man.
He had a while where he's running like 80 miles a week, but then he was injured for a bit. He's running like 40, 30, but but yeah, I mean, I would say an average probably like 60, yeah. But the thing is for him, and if you want to be a good runner or if you want to enjoy it, I think the big thing is discipline.
Yeah.
You don't just...
Well, I think his discipline comes from the fact that he enjoys it.
Yeah.
Because he likes it so much that...
Well, no, not really, because I mean, even sophomore year and stuff, I didn't fully enjoy it as much, but it's like, I had discipline, like, there would be a lot of days where it's like, fuck, I don't want to go run, but then I'd wake up at 6 a.m. I don't know how I did that. I'd wake up at 5 a.m. and I'd go for a run, and I'm like, I just do it. I remember there's days like...
Well, I'm talking about Sean. I'm not talking about you.
Well, no, but I'm saying that, I mean, maybe for Sean, but I'm just saying, like, in general...
I'm not
discipline
saying
doesn't have to come just because
Yeah,
you
no,
enjoy
I'm not
it.
saying that, but I'm
Like,
saying that with him.
Yeah, I mean, for him, yeah, maybe. But, like, even if, like, look at, like, David Goggins. Like, I was talking about, like, how I listened to David Goggins the other day. But it's, like, he fucking hates running. He's talking about, he's like, he's like, yeah, no, I absolutely hate it. I'm like, why are you running 250-mile races then? But, like, he's like, it's just because it's hard. And, like, because he can, and he has discipline. And that's probably the most... it's not probably. It is the most important thing to have if you want to be a good runner, if you want to get better.
Yeah.
But there's one thing about trying to be very competitive with running, and one thing about just trying to enjoy it and, like, living, like, a healthy life, like, burning calories and just, like, keeping your lungs, like, healthy. So...
Okay. I want to ask about, like, some of the technical stuff. Like, I noticed, like, after... I had gout for like a couple weeks ago, which is basically my toe swelled up. So for like a week and a half, like I just didn't do any cardio. Like I didn't run. Usually I run like maybe like 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And not that long, for like a mile or two. And then when I got back to like running, I was just like exhausted. Like it just felt like much worse.
Yeah.
And like and with me, like, I want to run and also lift, and and so like, and it's sometimes like I can do both on the same day, but it's also like I don't want to run every single day, and I don't know how for how long. Like I don't even know if my like endurance is building up, or if it's like if I'm actually like getting healthier or like getting like better at running. Like what are the metrics for you to measure like how running's affecting you, and like how much should you run?
So
like,
I think the biggest things for this, so obviously they're the easiest way is just by time, right? Like I'm gonna go out, run a mile, I'm gonna run as fast as I can, but that's the easiest way to do it. So that's the easiest way to measure it, not to train.
Which is easier for us than you.
Yeah,
we have a race every week, so you're seeing if you're improving.
Yeah, but so it's a little different. But realistically, if you're just training, if you just want to get healthier, and if you just want to get like have better endurance, the best way is like heart rate. There's also VO2 max, but that's more complicated, and you don't really need it unless you're like competing. But yeah, I would say a big thing is just heart rate. Do you have like a watch or anything? Like
Yeah, I have a Whoop.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like something like that is great for like for that. But
I mean, how you feel too is a big thing. Like it's
Yeah.
so simple, but it's like you said, you come back, you just feel worse, and so you know you're not in good shape.
Yeah.
And then if you stay consistent for 4 weeks, then you should see that you can run 3 miles at the same pace that you did 3 weeks ago. Run 1 mile, and you'll feel the same, or
Yeah.
if not better.
But the main thing is like if you want it, like so like what are your goals exactly? To see like how it might be going for you. Like see what I can, if there's any advice I can give you or something.
Yeah, like I'd say my goal is not necessarily to run faster, but to just like be healthier and probably just like be able to run more.
Okay.
And because like I'm getting to the point where I've realized like over the past year, like I'm just like running the same distance like over and over again. I'm running like 2 miles and I feel pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And so like I guess just want to run more, and I'm just trying to figure out like how to like is it just like pushing yourself, like getting your heart, like how to get my heart rate like like a lower HRV or whatever it is.
So I think the biggest thing is you have to incorporate like some sort of workouts. So like, well, that's not the biggest thing, but that might be the issue you're having because like I'm guessing like how consistent have you been? Because that's the first thing. Number one is consistency.
Yeah.
And then after that, everything else is extra. But like, yeah, how often do you run? Would you say?
It's kind of hard to say. Over the past like 6 months, like 3 or 4 times a week. And, like in the morning, I go for like a little jog, but it's just around the neighborhood. It's not like actual run.
Yeah.
So like 3 or 4 times a week.
Oh no, that's not bad at all. I saw that. So I don't think consistency is the issue then, because like. After that, if you don't see yourself improving, even though you're consistently running like 3, 4 or more days a week, I think the biggest thing is just incorporating workouts. So there's a lot of different types of workouts you can do in running, but if your only goal is like, oh, I want to run longer and I just want to be more in shape, the best is just tempo runs. Because
What's that?
So tempo runs, yeah, it's basically you're running below your You're running at your aerobic threshold. So that basically means you're running right below your heart rate or pace so you know lactic acid. So like lactic acid, it builds up in your legs when you're running fast, when you're running hard. And pretty much what you're trying to do with a tempo run is you're running right up to that threshold. So the threshold's right here. And you're just right under it. So say you're running like a really easy jog. So say this is the bottom, this is the top.
Yeah.
Your threshold's at like 80%. If you're running at 50% for all your runs, you're never coming close to that threshold. You're building, you're not really building anything in your lungs. Like you're building like your leg strength and everything, but you're not getting better in running as a sense. And it's not that simple, but the thing is, you also need training where you're getting right up to here. And the nice thing about the aerobic threshold is that if you're running just under it here, you're not building any lactic acid in your legs. So it shouldn't hurt that much. Like your legs shouldn't get tired. Your lungs will start to feel a little bit, but it shouldn't feel like if you've ever like sprinted like an 800 or like a mile or something, and you know how your lungs just like it's like you're almost tasting blood and you're just dying, right? The whole point of a tempo is you shouldn't feel that. You're under that threshold, because when you're running like a mile race, like I said, this is the 80% level of your tempo pace, and this is like 95%. This is where if you're racing a mile or a 5K or whatever if you're racing, you're gonna get up to here. Your legs are gonna die. Your lungs are gonna die. The whole point of tempo is you want to get up to this threshold so that if you keep on running at this threshold consistently, say maybe once or twice a week, then this threshold will increase.
How do you tell that you're running below that threshold? Because I feel like I'm breathing like relatively hard, like when I'm running, like not super hard, like not sprinting hard.
That's
like,
another thing, because with running is a lot of it, you actually need to run easier to get faster.
Well, for us, that we go off pace a lot of the time. Usually it's 30 I guess the rule is 30 seconds slower than race pace.
Around
which
there,
is harder
yeah.
for you because we have like this pace. So
Yeah.
we're 6 minutes, 5:30 per mile for a race, and then,
okay.
like the general rule would be you go. So if your race pace is 5:30 per mile for a 5K, and you're doing a 5K tempo, then you want to go around 6 minutes per mile. But
Yeah.
it's harder for
Yeah.
you to do.
I mean, you can also do that for like a mile or something. So like, if you really want to test it out, you just go to a track, sprint a mile, see what you can run, and like you
Yeah.
usually add like about a minute to your mile. And then for 5K, you usually add like he said about 30 seconds, but it's usually off pace. But the thing is, as you get faster, that pace will slowly decrease, right? But you start to feel that because the way tempos are described by most coaches is like you want to be running at like 80% effort.
Yeah.
You feel like where you can still talk a little bit, but it's not like you're having a full blown conversation. But at the same
Okay.
time, it's not like you're like hi, my name. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be.
Well, I feel like 80% is pretty hard.
It is
Like 100% is like you can't breathe, you can't talk.
100% is so say it's 100% for that distance.
Yeah,
so
it depends on the distance.
so
Okay.
for tempo, you want to usually do at least 10 to 20 minutes. 10 minutes is probably
Yeah.
the bare minimum where you can still get
Yes.
some good benefits. But I would say 15 to 20 minutes, especially if you're not a runner, that'll do more than you could like think of. Because especially if you're not that fast of a runner, like 15, 20 minutes, somewhere in that range, you're running around 2 miles.
Yeah.
But if you're running a tempo, you'll probably run closer to like 2.5 or more. And if you're like a varsity cross country runner, you're probably running like 3 or more miles. And then if you're like college, whatever, there's dudes that are running like 4 miles or something like crazy like that in that time. But it's all off pace. So
The 100% changes for each distance.
Yeah.
So if you, it's easy to think when you think of 100% like an all-out sprint.
Yeah.
But
so
when you're
it's
talking
like
about 100% for a 5K, then that's a pace where you can,
Yeah.
like it's not an all-out sprint. It's not like you're super huffing and puffing until you get to like 2.5 miles. Then obviously it starts to catch up to you. But
yeah, because you're saying like 100%. When I run a 400, I'm running a 4-minute mile pace.
Yeah.
When you're saying for a mile, I'm running like a 5-minute pace. When you're saying 2 mile, I'm running like 5:30 pace, whatever that might be, right?
it's not 100% of your speed.
Yeah.
It's 100% of the
Yeah.
effort you can give for that distance. So if you're running 15 minutes for a tempo, you want to give 80% for 15 minutes. So say 20. So let's say 20 minutes. It's a little easier to use because it's closer to like a 5K.
See, Zach?
See, Zach, I'd like everyone to know that one of our dear friends just left the room. He's shaking his head at us. But basically, yeah.
Wait, hold on. Is there a point to, like, are you doing like tempo runs like once or twice a week, or is there a point to varying like your distance and like
There's
long you run
definitely a
for?
point to varying your distance. So
That's what I was going to say. I was just going to be...
yeah, but the thing is about tempos, it's just one example. So I'll list off like a ton of different workouts. So there's like usually like a normal running like workout structure is you're gonna have recovery runs, say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and maybe Sunday, or you can take the day off. So that's usually how it's structured.
Okay.
Saturday is like a long run usually. So like a normal week structure for the off season when you're not racing. So this would be like for you because you're not racing.
Yeah.
Is you'd have 1 long run, 2 workouts, and 3 easy runs. So every run serves its own purpose, but the reason why I brought up tempo runs first is because tempo runs are, if you're going to add, so say for you run 2-3 miles like 3-4 days a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all those runs are the exact same. You're running not that fast, or maybe you are, whatever you're running, they're all pretty similar, right?
Yeah, I pretty much go the same. Sometimes I'll like a couple times.
Yeah, you'll
the
go
past month I'll like go to Miramar Lake and like do the whole thing, but that's like not very common.
Yeah. So exactly like what I'm saying is that if you have if your running schedule is just that, if you're just going out and just running a little bit, the first thing that you'd want to add to your schedule would be a tempo run.
Yeah.
If you can only choose one workout on top of those easy runs you're doing, would be a tempo.
Well,
And-
I'd say just go farther.
Go farther.
Just go
okay.
farther. Because tempo runs for us, it's like we're trying to increase our pace. We're trying to be able to
Well,
hold this pace for longer. But
Yeah.
but if you, for you, I mean, just because how much do you normally go?
To like 2 to 3 miles, sometimes 1 mile.
Then like
well, because here's the thing.
consistently do 4 miles, like until you know what I mean.
Yeah,
'Cause that'll get you.
But the thing
Okay.
is, that's a lot easier said than done. Because like, if you mean for us, for runners like who've been running for a while, getting back into like for us, it's easy. Like, sure, we haven't been running much recently, but if we wanted to, we can easily go back and run 8 miles a day. And
well, I'm not
that's not
saying
hard.
he should go run 8 miles, but
yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that's his equivalent of 4 miles. Like, if he goes out and runs 4 miles every day, it won't be sustainable. So like, you have to build up
Well,
to
that's
that.
what I'm saying. But build up to it through more mileage. So start
Well-
increasing instead of your average run being 2.
Yeah.
then go 2.5, and then do one longer run a week where it's
Okay.
like 5. And then once you start doing that, it'll be easier for you to do 3, and then 3, and then for your long run you can do 6. You know what I mean?
Keeping
I mean,
like the
you
same
could-
pace. Keeping
Yeah.
the same pace. with
Yes,
it.
if you want.
But I mean,
Okay.
in my opinion, because I mean, there's different coaching styles. I mean, no way is going to be like very wrong. But I mean,
the thing
in
is-
my opinion, I feel like if you go out and do a few tempos first, you don't have to do it forever. But that'll be a lot quicker for
Yeah, I
helping you
feel
build
like-
up mileage. Because if you
Yeah.
go out and do those tempo runs, you get your aerobic fitness up. Once that aerobic fitness is up, it's a lot easier to go out like and run 5 miles, even if you've never done it before. But maybe your legs might be a little more tired. But through those tempo runs, you shouldn't be having that issue because, like I said before, your legs shouldn't be hurting that much when you're
Yeah.
doing a tempo run. But I mean, what Sammie's saying is 100% right. And like that's kind of what I was building up to is like the way I'm explaining it. So say you run Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? That's just an example, 3 days a week. Say you do Monday and Friday easy runs. You're running 3 miles, and you're just going out there. You're just kind of jogging. And say on Wednesday you do a half-mile warm-up, and then you do like a 15-minute tempo. 15-minute tempo, that's probably like 2.5 miles or whatever. And then you do another half-mile cool-down. In total, you're at around a little over 3, right? Maybe 4 miles. So in that time, you're still building some distance, but you're getting a ton of benefit from that, or like from that tempo. You're getting that aerobic fitness. So what I'm saying is, if you consistently do that for say 2 months, and you're running like a tempo like that plus some easy runs every week.
Are the easy runs like the recovery runs that
Yeah,
you talk about?
yeah.
Okay.
But in your case, if you're only running 3 days a week, it's they're not really recovery runs. They're usually just call them easy runs because you're not really recovering because you have like full on recovery days. Like that's what
Oh.
Tuesday and Thursday would be for you.
Oh, okay.
Like Tuesday,
Yeah.
Thursday,
Oh,
Saturday,
yeah,
Sunday.
yeah.
But yeah, it's the same thing, and you're still gaining benefit from those days. Especially like if you are running like a 6-day, 7-day week schedule, those recovery runs are really important. Like if you do only those workouts and you don't do those recovery runs, you won't actually gain as much fitness, which is weird to think of. But
that's where it comes from.
yeah, your fitness comes from like just base miles, and then like
Well, it comes from the recovery from the hard work.
yeah, and the only way you do that is from those base miles.
Yeah.
So like mileage will always make you faster, to an extent. That's what's big asterisks on it, if you do it right. But in your case, like what I'm saying is just it. I feel like if you do like say that 3-4 day week schedule with one tempo run for 2 months, all of a sudden after that, you could go into like a 6-mile run and you probably wouldn't feel that bad. Like you'd go into it and you're like, this is way easier than I thought it would be. And I'm not saying after that you should just go run 6 miles every day, but it'll be easier to. And then that's where you can start building up. And then you're like, okay, so now that I've done this, instead of 3 miles on my easy days, I'm going to do 4 miles. And then for my tempo run, instead of 15, I'll do 20. Or you keep it to 15. Maybe I'm going to add in one more day of the week. Say instead of 3 days running, I'm going to add in another run on Saturday. And then once you add in that, say you have 4 or 5 days a week running, and then eventually you're like, okay, one of these days I'm going to turn into a long run. So say you have, all of a sudden you're running Monday through Friday, or say Monday through Thursday plus Saturday. Just split it up a little bit. Say Saturday, okay, I'm going to do the long run. I'll do my tempo on Tuesday, and then Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'll keep my easy runs. And then I'll still have rest on Friday and Sunday. So it's all about building it up. The way you build it up like Sammie's saying, you could do it by mileage, and that's one way to do it. But I mean, in my experience, I feel like tempos have been better. But yeah, every coach is gonna have like a different style. And I mean, I've gone through so many different coaches. So has Sammie. But and I like even like some of the kids on the team, like I've helped make like training schedule and stuff for them. Like even for me and Sammie, like I've made training schedules for us in the past when we didn't have like coaches or anything. So like I'm not saying I'm a good coach. Like I wouldn't go and advertise myself as that, but like I feel like out of my experience in like creating training plans or like coaching even myself, is that adding in workouts first is easier than adding in mileage first.
Yeah. Okay. And what percentage are you running on the days that you're going like easy, or are you doing like recovery run?
Like 60%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, can you still talk?
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
It, like,
that's
I'll,
what we do. We'll talk the entire.
Yeah, and like
Oh,
we're
really?
literally the
Yeah.
entire time we're talking, like laughing and stuff.
I mean, it's probably easier for us too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, for you, it's like it might be humbling to go out there and like run like at that pace, because like if I started out cross country that way, I would have been running probably like 11-minute miles or something. But I mean, the way I started was not easy, and that's probably why I didn't enjoy it for the first like month or two, because I didn't. Because I would go into it and I just run with like I said, like my brother, his seniors, like varsity kids, and I would just absolutely die every day for the first like few weeks, and they're all like talking and everything, and it wasn't that enjoyable. But the thing is, I still built up the fitness over time, but it wasn't a fun way to do it. But
Okay,
so
yeah.
if you want to like keep the discipline, like keep it enjoyable, the best way is just go at an easy pace. Maybe for you that's like 10 minutes a mile, maybe it's 9:30 a mile, whatever it might be. But go out there, but make sure it's still a run.
Yeah.
Because if you go out there and do 13 minutes a mile, I know you can do faster than that. Like, there's a point where it's not running anymore. It's like you can be jogging, but
It's walking.
yeah, it's pretty much
yeah.
you're getting the same benefits as walking. You're not even.
I think my like fitness is not that great, because like I try to go like as like light as possible,
Yeah.
like on jogs or runs, and like I still can't really talk. Like I can talk, but it's like I'm like breathing kind of still. Like I'm.
Oh no,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
are we. Like we'll still be breathing, but it's like you would be able to have a conversation if you had to, or like someone's next to you, or like. I'm not saying all my easy runs, like, I'm not breathing. Like, most of the time you are breathing heavy,
Okay,
especially
yeah.
when you're going up a hill or
Yeah,
something. Like,
yeah.
you're still going to be breathing heavy, but you should also still be able to talk. I mean, and even for us, like, people take their easy runs too hard a lot of times. So it's like, I'll be running up a hill with all the boys, and, like, some of them are pushing the pace a little bit. So it's like, I'm kind of out of breath. Like, if I was talking, like, sentences, I'd have to take, like, a big breath in between, like, in the middle of a sentence. So that's when you know you're kind of going a little too hard. But it's not bad to go a little bit faster on the easy runs, but it's just keep it easy is the main thing. Just keep it at whatever that means for you. I mean, just don't go out there and like kill yourself every day. And especially if you're going to add in workouts, make sure that those easy days really are like easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Made right into a runner.
That was helpful.
Yeah. No, if you actually like decide that that's like what you want to do, like you want to keep on like trying to figure it out, then let us know.
I feel like you
Yeah,
can
for
help
sure.
pretty fast, actually.
You definitely could be.
You have the build, and you used to play soccer, right?
Yeah, but it's like the thing is like I like lifting is more of a priority for me, like getting
Yeah.
big. So like
Yeah.
running is just like to feel good and like
Yeah,
yeah.
and
No,
I
that's
just want to
good.
get better at it.
Because
It's
the
not
same
like-
thing for me, like freshman year, all I cared about was like getting big and everything.
Yeah.
And even now, like now that I don't care as much about my times, it's like
Yeah.
I want to feel good. I want to look good. So yeah, I've been starting to go to like the gym more as well. I've been doing like workout. Like, I have weights at home and stuff. I'll be doing a little more than I used to. But it doesn't mean you can still be a decent runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really out of shape right now, and I still ran like 19 flat for a 5K. So it's like, I know that this is not my best shape. I could one, I can definitely look way better. Like growing muscles and then just like losing fat, and then also just running more. Like, and then the second thing, like I was like, yeah, I can run more. I'll feel better. Like my aerobic, I'll have like less body fat. So you can do both, but you have to balance it well, and usually you have to prioritize one over the other. But if it's not like, oh, I just want to be really strong or I want to be really fast, if it's kind of just a combo, it's like I just want to look good and feel good, then that's like then it's really easy, because balancing the two isn't going to be that hard, because if you're not going for performance for either one, because like I'm guessing you're not trying to go out here and bench 3 plates,
no,
and you're not trying to go out here and run a 4-minute mile.
Yeah.
So it's really not that hard to balance the two, from like a coaching standpoint, because you're not trying to like optimize one or the other. You're just kind of going out there and like trying to do good in both. So
yeah, I have this memory, on like AP Bio. We went to the zoo.
Oh yeah.
You're basically like, you want to get kettle corn. Do you remember that?
I think I do. I do remember getting kettle corn. I don't remember being with you for that, but yeah.
Yeah, and then well, I think you were like, you wanted to get kettle corn. I was like, I think we got it together, but I was thinking like all this like food, all this like kettle corn, it's like full of sugar. Like, what is Evan gonna do on his like run, like after he has this, like basically what I'm asking is like, how does diet factor into like just your life, like, or running, or like?
Yeah, I mean, at least for me,
It doesn't.
Okay.
Sammy says it doesn't. Well, I mean,
So does the box of Crumbl cookies on your kitchen table that we got after practice the other day.
Damn.
they're gone now. No, well,
all 6 of them, like a
Yep.
big.
all 6.
Well, I took one. So
He took 1,
5.
5. I gave like 2.5 to my dad. He gave half of them. So yeah, I had 2.5 Crumbl cookies in the course of like 3 days.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, that's just me being fat right now. But like, I would say dieting when I'm like serious about running, or just in general. So I've gone through a lot of phases. So running doesn't affect my diet that much. The only big thing is like, I just make sure I try to get the good nutrients, like stuff I need, and then everything else is just I do whatever I want. But that's really only sustainable when I'm like fully into running, because like right now, because the thing, it's kind of sucks, because when I stop running, like now, like my diet doesn't change just because I'm so used to it, and that's what I like. So that's why I start to gain weight. But the thing is, when I'm running a lot, then I'm still eating a crazy amount. I'm still eating a lot of sugar or whatever.
It burns off.
But yeah, I burn it all off. I'm still losing weight. So like summer after my freshman year, I was running like some ridiculous mileage over the summer, like running twice a day most days.
Yeah.
And I was still eating a ridiculous amount. Like every morning I'd wake up, have 2 slices of peanut butter toast with honey, a banana, and then I'd go run. And then I'd come back, I'd have a full breakfast of like eggs and whatever. And then after that, like this would still be pretty early in the morning. So then later I'd have lunch. I'd have a big lunch. And then a little after that I'd run again. And then later at night I'd have dinner. And I'd usually snack in between too. So like I'd be eating a like ridiculous amount of food. But I was still losing weight just because of how much I was running.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing about running is like eat the stuff that you need, like that's good. Like I said, like eggs, and like you need protein, you need carbs. Like I have rice a lot. Like all that stuff's good for you, especially if you're a runner. But then everything else, I don't think it's not bad. Like I would still eat Lucky Charms all the time. I'd still eat cookies and cake and ice cream. It's just like, because I could. Like it's not gonna, like it's not bad. It's bad, but it's like it's in moderation. Especially like stuff like sugar. Like I can still use that as fuel when I'm running. And it's a little different with lifting, because I remember there was a period where I got into lifting for a lot, and I was tracking all of my calories, and I was like, oh yeah, it was ridiculous. It was probably pretty much an eating disorder. It was like I was like, oh yeah, I do not want to eat. I don't want to eat this. Like, oh yeah, this is too many calories, and I'd limit my calories and everything. And I mean, I do it for a bit, but it just wasn't sustainable, and it's just like you're not living a enjoyable life. So I think it's like a big thing is just run for the good of running. Like, you get the benefits out of it, but at the same time, enjoy your life. Like, eat what you want to eat, but try to balance it out. Because I've gotten to the point now, like right now, where I know I just gained like what I said, like 6-7 pounds or whatever, and what I'm doing now is like, okay, I'll still eat what I want, but just try to limit it a bit. Like, I'm not gonna have like 2 portions of everything. I'm just like, but I'll still have dessert and everything.
Does it affect you when you have like dessert or like ice cream or like Crumbl cookie?
Usually not. I mean, it depends a lot on what I'm doing. But if if I have an entire Crumbl cookie the night before a race, then I might feel it a bit. And don't ask me why I know that. I had a race on Wednesday,
Okay.
but
Wait, so you ate it before?
The night before.
Okay.
And the thing is, I wasn't even hungry. I was like, this just tasted good. But the thing is, like, usually, like, if you do it in moderation, it really won't affect you. Like, even if it's right before a run or it's the day before, whatever.
Yeah.
But it really depends on what you're eating and when. Well, no, not what. Sorry. I mean, how much you're eating. So, I'm not saying you gotta count your calories, but, like, yeah.
I also think it's, like, because you're young and, like, I think most people, when you're young, like, you can, like, burn that off, or it's like it doesn't really affect you. But for me, like, I've had some, like, health problems over the past couple of years. So, like, when I have, like anything, like, close to being unhealthy, like, it, like, gets to me. If I have, like a handful of, like cereal in the morning with some sugar in it probably, or, like, some, like, preservatives, like, I just feel tired in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
which kind of sucks, but, like,
yeah, that does.
Yeah, but it's but it's
you
like,
just gotta do it a lot so your body gets used to it.
I don't think so.
Hey, you know Ken Paula, right?
Yeah.
His philosophy was so he's like the fastest dude who's ever come to Parker, and like he was a senior or a freshman, so he'd kind of always teach us everything. And he's like, all right, here's my philosophy, guys. I'm gonna go to 7-Eleven. I'm gonna buy as much candy as I can right before practice. We have practice at 4. It's like 3:30. Buys all this candy, eats as much of it as possible. He's like, if I can run a good workout right now,
no
he's like,
way,
imagine how fast I could run in a race without all this candy.
Did he actually do that?
He did that. Like, it was mostly a joke, but he would actually do it. Like, he would actually eat like a ridiculous amount of candy, like before practice and stuff. But then he would say the joke kind of as an excuse to do it. But no, but he's still ridiculously fast. It's like diet's important to an extent. But I mean, for you, I mean, yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't really know because I haven't really experienced that before.
Yeah.
But
I feel like York would never. I feel like York would never do that.
York is
he's the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the funny,
But I think York influenced me. Like, now I'm like a big health nut.
Well, the funny thing is York never got. Nothing against York, but he never got to Kennan's level.
Yeah.
So part of that just shows me it's like just natural ability.
Yeah.
So it's like you can focus on your diet, but you're never going to be faster than Kenan. And Kenan could eat chips all day, every day, and still be faster.
Yeah, like
That's so sad. That's
It's so
sad.
annoying. It's like the worst.
It is
ever.
because
It's
like talent just beats a lot of people's like hard work, and especially in endurance sports like running or cycling or swimming or anything like that. Like
some people are just insane, and you don't understand it, but they
people are just better than you, and you just can't be like over that. Like that one summer I was telling you about, I was running 60, 70, 80 miles a week. And Sammie got up to like 100 miles. I got up to like 85 or something. And over a time like that, there's kids who are in the same grade as us who are just way faster, who are just doing a normal training schedule. They're running like 30, 40 miles a week, maybe 45, 50 as a freshman. And it's like way less than what we're doing. But guess what? They improved way more than I did. And they were faster than me to begin with. So it's just like they just have better ability, and that's... And I think that's one thing that I actually really like about running and competing is that, like, I'd go into it. I know that there's people better than me, but I didn't really care because I'm like, as long as I can beat myself, like, I just want to, like, beat my previous time. Like, I just want to get a better time as long as I'm improving. And that's kind of another thing that that gets a lot of people into running, like, keeps them around is that they like to see themselves improve. And that kind of goes back to like the motivation discipline thing we're talking about. That's a big thing. Motivation for people is just like getting faster and faster. But the thing is, once you keep on getting faster, you get to a point where it starts to level off, like start to plateau.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah, and
Are you in econ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like you get to the point like you're not improving as much, and it's not as fun. Like you're losing that motivation. And the thing is, even though it's motivation, that motivation is drawn out over 2 years. You can run 2 years and improve a lot, but then you get to that 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year, you're barely improving. You're improving maybe 5-10 seconds a year, maybe less. And it's just you lose that motivation. So that's when you got to tap into that discipline. But it's a weird sport that way, because I feel like there's no other sport that's like it besides other endurance sports, like I said, like swimming and cycling. But you go back to like soccer, baseball, basketball, tennis, anything like that. It's completely different.
Yeah. There's only like one skill, which is like getting faster, versus like other sports have like.
You have all these little things.
Yeah.
We have a friend from Santa Fe Christian, and he didn't start running until sophomore year.
Oh my God.
And then we were like, I think I don't know if it was both of us or just me, but like I was beating him at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year, he started getting really fast, and then like a year later, he got 8th at state, way faster than us, and he didn't. And I think we were both training harder than him. And then last year, junior year of track, he didn't even run at all. And then we come back to cross country, and he's still faster than us.
My God.
When we were training it, and that's just so frustrating to see, because it's like he doesn't do it run as much as us, so he doesn't like just put in as much effort, and you're still getting beat. And so that's why it was kind of weird, because when I played baseball, I always saw running as like, I kind of thought it was the opposite. Like I thought it was like, oh, if I go and I just run a lot harder than everybody else, I'll get faster than them eventually. Because when I played baseball, I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like that with every sport. Just people who are naturally gifted. It's like that with anything. Like,
I
people
agree.
who are going to be smarter than you are always going to be smarter than you. But with baseball, I was like, okay, I'm too small. I'm never going to be better than somebody who's better than me, who's bigger and whatever. So then when I came to running, I was like, I'm starting off at a pretty good spot. So if I just train really hard, then I can start beating all these people. And then that never really happened. So that was kind of like,
Well, I guess other sports too. I gotta go soon.
Okay.
But do you guys want to answer like rapid fire questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But with soccer, I guess like even with other sports, it is very much like based on like natural ability. Because like with soccer, I just couldn't gain weight. Like I was trying to bulk in freshman year and like the end of middle school, and like my friend and I've been playing soccer with him since like 3rd grade. Like we've been on the same soccer team like for multiple years, and somehow like in middle school he just like suddenly got super good, but he practiced for that. But the main thing for me was like I kept on getting pushed around. Like it was harder for me to like tackle for the ball, because I was like 110 pounds in like freshman year. And
Did
I
you play soccer freshman year?
Yeah, I did.
For Parker?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I just wanted to bulk, and like I got to like 120 pounds, and I just plateaued. Like I couldn't get heavier. And my friend he's the same height as me.
Yeah.
He got to like 160 pounds, and he's just like he's like a powerhouse. Like, like he doesn't even look. He's very fit too. Like so, and he's fast, and like I was like, come on. But
well, I was gonna say, like, I always think I wonder why that is. Just some people are so much better than, or even just some people are so naturally gifted. I guess we go full circle and say that it was God's natural gift talent.
Yeah.
Back to the beginning, but that's just crazy to me that it's like some people are naturally just insane at things, and I've never really understood why or how, and why that's not me, because that would be awesome if that was me. But even like soccer, like I feel there's just people who are so insane. Yeah, like, what is it? They're just their mind and their foot works better together than other people.
A lot of it is just like growing up with it too. Like I never grew up touching a soccer ball. I did for the first time last year, and holy fuck, I sucked. So like that's like why now I'm like, I mean, I can prove a little bit, and I definitely have.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm not going to prove nearly as much as anyone else, because like if you start so young, like it becomes a second-hand ability. It's like the same thing as like learning a language. Like you learn it when you're young. All of a sudden, you don't have to think about it. Like Vietnamese, I don't have to think about when I speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
English, obviously, I don't.
Yeah.
But like Spanish, I kind of learned that when I was a little. Like I started to master it like the older I got.
Yeah.
So when I speak in Spanish, I have to think a little more. Obviously, there's some things I don't really like that are very, very easy. Like I don't have to think about. And also, like there was a little bit of Spanish I grew up around, so it's like some of that is almost second nature, but most of it, like certain vocab, but like anything grammar wise, like I have to think about it. And it's the same thing with soccer. Like you grow up with it, you learn how to like do certain moves, or like how to dribble a ball correctly, or like even how to sprint with a ball. Like there's kids who can run 15 miles an hour down the field with a ball. Thing is, like I can run fast, but probably not with the ball. But there's kids who can. It's second nature to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even within that though, like I grew up playing baseball. Like what you're talking about, like I was 4 or 5 when I started. I'm still never gonna be anywhere close to like what some of these guys are.
No,
so
100%. Because like same with me, I grew up playing baseball, but like, and I stopped when I was in middle school. I think I stopped in like 7th grade. But the thing is, like, I get like if I went back to baseball right now, I wouldn't be the worst in the world. I definitely would not be great. But the thing is, like, if you had 2 versions of me in some alternate universe or whatever, you had me now who played baseball for 7 years or whatever, and me who never played baseball as a kid. You made both of us go to the same tryouts. I guarantee you I would be way better than the other one who never touched baseball or a bat in his life. You know, like I can still.
So wait,
I
so
would
you
say
mean to
that-
tell me that somebody who's played a sport for 10 years is gonna be better than somebody who's never tried it?
Well, here's the thing.
Wow, I've never.
Well, what I'm saying is just that it's like the ability as a kid that you gain is just like exponentially higher than what you could have gained by now.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah, I know
10
what you're
years,
saying.
10 years when you're 20 to 30 is a lot different when you're 5 to 15 is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, but I still mean like within that realm. But like I'm saying, if I like me and somebody who's like best player here, or like I don't know, like Trey or Tyler who left, we probably started playing baseball at around the same age, and just they're so much. I mean, obviously
they
they're
just
bigger,
are.
but they're just so much better than me.
Yeah,
and it's
100%.
I did play a lot, so. We for a while up until we probably were like teenagers, we probably played a similar amount, like same amount of hours. But it's
No,
just
I
like-
agree. Like obviously it's mostly talent, but like what I'm saying is just like otherwise, I mean, if it were just by age, otherwise you'd have parents putting in all their kids at 3 years old into basketball and everyone be in the NBA. Because that's how it would work. But obviously,
Well,
what I'm
parents
saying
try to do that.
They try.
I feel like I'm gonna.
most don't. But what I'm saying is that like they put their kids in there, and it's like as a kid they get a lot better than they ever could be if they tried later. But doesn't necessarily the talent will line up with that. You need the talent and you need the time is what I'm saying to become a really great player.
Yeah, because I think you're right about the language thing. It's like think about a language that you know versus someone you kind of know. Like what you're saying with Spanish. Like with Spanish, with most of it, you have to translate it in your head first. But if it's a language you learned as a kid, then it hits your ear and you just understand it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's definitely like sports a little bit. Like if you have that natural.
Yeah, well, like you get
age
past the ball and like you know exactly what to do with your feet.
Yeah.
But now, like you probably gotta think.
It's harder
about
to
it a
learn it
little
now.
bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Rapid fire
All right,
questions.
let's go,
Yeah.
I don't have these written down, so it's kind of just coming out of my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the point of like natural ability, you think people have a natural ability to talk to girls?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It can be trained, but yes.
And I think that the natural ability takes them super far, because if you have a natural ability and then you see it start to work, then it pays off. And then it's like the rich get richer and the poor get poor. And then if you're not good at talking to girls, then you're gonna lose your confidence, and then you're not gonna talk to them.
Yeah.
You're not gonna practice.
Yeah.
You know what
So
I
it's a
mean?
little bit of both.
Where does that come from?
The ability?
Yeah.
I
think
wish I
it's
knew,
just-
man.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's just a lot of your personality, just being extrovert, being introvert, how you talk with people, how well you
Yeah.
converse with people. It's like sales almost. Like some people are really good at selling things, some people aren't. And it's almost like selling yourself when you're trying to ask someone out. You're trying to present yourself in the best way so that they'll say yes. So it's like, it's the same thing. Yeah. Like I said, which is sales and communication skills. It's just,
I think
just
part
you
of
have
it-
it or you don't. Obviously you can learn it, but
Part of it is, I think, how you look. Like,
Yeah,
not to
yeah.
be
oh,
shallow.
100%.
If
Yeah.
you grow up good looking and girls in elementary, like you're the popular kid in elementary school, and you have confidence, and
You'll have more
that's gonna
confidence,
Yeah,
be-
for sure.
You know.
What are, I guess you guys could answer in the context of your guys' friendship, but what are the best parts of friendship?
I think I would say the biggest thing. Well, I mean, I think this is all relationships too, whether that's like friendship or like dating someone, like even like your sibling parent is like you have someone that like you can be with, like you can hang out with, you can do things with, you can talk to. That's like the whole the whole point of any type of relationship. Like boiling it down, in my opinion, is literally just having someone to not be alone around.
Yeah.
So it's like what in whatever way. It's like eating a meal together, talking, running together,
Yeah.
trying new things. Yeah.
And I'll go off of that. I 100% agree with that. And then also to just, if you're friends, hopefully you make friends with the right people. So then they push you, and then you get each other into different, you know, because if you only do stuff based off your own thinking, then you're going to kind of stay in a straight path your whole life. But if you have friends who are, obviously everybody's different, so they're going to get you to try new things and in a lot of cases, push you to be better and do stuff that
You learn from them. I
Yeah.
guess. A big thing.
What are your thoughts on boredom? Just like being bored.
Okay. I got a good one for this. I've actually been thinking about this a lot recently. Well, I mean, like this is something I've been thinking about. So it's like, I feel like it's really really important. So like one thing I do is like when I don't have anything to do, I'll just sit on my phone and I'll just like scroll and like go on Instagram, Netflix, whatever. And even sometimes like when I'm like in the bathroom or something, I'll just sit in there way longer than I need to. Just 'cause I'm just on my phone.
Wait, you're not supposed
No,
to say that.
well, not in a weird way, but just going through like Instagram or something.
No.
maybe.
No, I genuinely, but it's just like,
Well, I know what you're saying.
or like even like, yeah, it's like that type of stuff. But I feel like once
I was just talking about like a yonder path. I wasn't talking about. Okay.
What?
Never mind.
Wait, what?
I was just talking about like. Wait. Have you? Oh, okay. Not in school, right?
No, yeah, I'm talking about out of school. I just mean like
Yeah. Okay.
having that boredom is like a lot is really good. Like, cause I listen to like videos when I fall asleep, and it's kind of a habit. And it's sometimes I think it can be good because I learn a lot of stuff from those videos. Like I said, like video essays, like for philosophy and stuff. Like that's a lot of stuff I listen to when I sleep, or like about econ or whatever. Like it's interesting, like useful things, but having that boredom is also really important sometimes. Like sometimes if I fall asleep without it, like I just start thinking about random things. And I think that's a pretty universal thing about like everyone who's trying to fall asleep, or if you just go in the shower, that's why they say like shower thoughts, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of these times, like when I'm like trying to play music all the time or like listening to videos and stuff, it kind of distracts you from that boredom and you don't have those random thoughts anymore. And I think those thoughts are like really important to have. So because a lot of like the things that I think a lot of creativity gets built up around that.
Mm-hmm.
So with boredom, you come up with a lot of new ideas, a lot of new like innovative ways to think or do certain things. It's just
That was good.
no, it's just like boredom is really important to have. And I feel like in today's world, especially like through my life, I know is that like we suppress it a lot. Like we always have something to do. We always find a way to get rid of the boredom, but I think it's good to have.
I think it's important to get used to it too, because it's like going to be pretty inevitable no matter what you do. So, like I work Sundays like 8 hours just sitting at a desk, and it gets super boring. But I feel like I can
It's
deal
not
with
that boring.
it.
He's sending me reels half the time, but keep on
That's
going.
well.
Wait, is this your
that's
job?
what?
Is this your job?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
his
yeah.
job.
Okay.
And it's like, if you're able to deal with it pretty well, then I don't know. I don't think about not working or something like that. And so I guess that's just a reflection of later on. Like you might have to work a boring job or have a boring couple weeks in your job, but if you're able to deal with that, then you can. It's like a discipline sort of thing almost.
Yeah.
Okay, I have like a few like really rapid fire questions. If you don't know the answer,
Okay.
if you don't know the answer, then you can just say you don't know. What's your favorite beach to go to in San Diego?
Let's
La
go.
Jolla Shores, probably.
I was gonna say let's go on 3 because I thought we were gonna have the same one.
Oh,
but-
my bad.
What's yours? La Jolla Shores.
Were you gonna say Scripps?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Scripps. Because it's
I mean,
basically
it's
La
the
Jolla
same
Shores,
thing,
but
yeah.
it's just
But it's
the
a surfing
surfing
part.
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
La Jolla Shores is nice though.
Yeah, because I always go to La Jolla Shores to like run, and just like hang out. They have cool restaurants, a park. It's a great
Yeah.
place.
Scripps is the best surf spot though.
It's a great surf spot. They're better, but keep on going.
Favorite-
It's reliable.
It is, yeah.
Okay. Favorite TV show?
Right now, I've been watching Shameless. It's been great, but that's
I'd
probably
say
not
that's a
my.
good show.
But it's probably not my favorite. What's yours?
Modern Family, 100%.
I would
I've
say
watched that like 8 times.
Modern Family. Oh yeah, this dude.
Have you really watched it 8 times?
Yeah.
I watched The Office like 8 times. That was probably my all-time favorite. But now looking back on it, I feel like it probably wouldn't be my favorite. I feel like I don't know. I've watched some really good ones. I really like How I Met Your Mother. That's a really good one.
Hmm. Favorite movie?
There's that one. Fuck, what's it called? There's shit. It's that one World War II movie about.
1917?
No. Let me see.
Saving Private Ryan.
It might have been. No, it's not.
Is it
World War II.
Is it based in Germany?
Okay.
Pearl Harbor?
It's in Okinawa.
I don't know.
It's the guy who like, huh?
Dunkirk?
No, that's dude. That is not Okinawa. That's
With the war person? The
No,
guy?
it's pretty much the guy who's like he doesn't want to use a gun and he just becomes like
Oh, wait, Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I love that movie.
That's probably my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, probably Wolf of Wall Street.
That is a really good one.
But
I can't
Wait,
lie.
what?
My girlfriend got mad at me for saying that 'cause there's a lot of nudity.
Wait,
That's
what?
not why. Disclaimer:
Hold on.
That's not why it's my favorite movie. It's because I like
It's a good part.
the.
Wait, what?
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
No, it's
not
a great
why.
movie.
It's like it's first of all it's really well made, and I'm interested in finance and that sort of stuff, and I think
Okay.
it's just interesting.
Yeah,
But
it's funny too.
But otherwise, probably Shawshank Redemption. I really like that movie.
Okay.
Watch it.
Favorite food place to go to?
In San Diego,
Well,
just anywhere.
Chip.
probably in San Diego.
Chip.
Chip.
Chipotle.
This dude loves Chipotle. We go anywhere, and the first thing was Chipotle. Like we'll go across like the world. He's like, "Do they have Chipotle here?"
What do you like? I like Chipotle because it's healthy, but it's not like it doesn't like hit like a lot.
It hits a lot.
He's
to me
dude,
for
so
some
weird.
reason. I'll go through phases though. Like I had a burrito like 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't that good. So ever since then, I haven't been craving it.
That's
but then
weird.
I'll have a good bowl, and then I'll just want it every single day. That like
Ooh.
honestly, I'm kind of craving it.
I know
right
my
now.
answer.
We might have to hit it after this.
Nope. Din Tai Fung. I think Din
Din
Tai
Tai
Fung.
Fung.
There's some. I also I really like the taco stand as well, but that's like very different. But I'd say overall favorite is probably Din Tai Fung.
Okay.
Korean barbecue's been hitting so hard.
We went
recently,
yesterday
though.
last
It's
night
so
at like
good.
9 o'clock. It was amazing.
I'd say that's like my favorite type of food right now. But
I also love sushi. That's my favorite type of food overall. But
it's alright.
If you're Korean barbecue, is it? Because the times I went to Korean barbecue, the meat has been so hard. It's been
Nah,
like
you're
incredibly
not in
hard
the
to
right
chew.
places.
Yeah, you're in
Is
the
it
wrong
supposed to be
Right
like?
meat.
Is it supposed to be like nice and like soft?
well, it depends on.
Because I remember you were talking on Jason. You said you didn't like steak that much because it's too.
Yeah.
you're having
it's
the
too
wrong
hard.
types of steak.
Also, the place we
Come
go
over
to-
to my house. I'll make you a nice steak, and,
Really?
and
Okay.
you'll be switched.
Well, the
up.
Korean barbecue, a lot of it's thinly sliced rolls. So our favorite's the
Ooh.
brisket, and it's
Mm.
Yeah,
so
brisket
thin.
roll. Oh my god, it's the
and
best
it's like,
thing.
it's like a leaf almost, but it's
Mhm.
meat, and so you can. It's so thin, and you eat it, but there's like you can't taste, or you can't. There's no texture that's really hard to it, but it's
Oh yeah,
really
it's like
good.
melts in your mouth.
Yeah.
Do you dip it in something, or is it
Usually
just
just salt.
Because there's
Oh,
so
okay.
much flavor.
Well, I just
Yeah.
dip it in salt.
Yeah, salt.
Usually they have soy sauce. I mean, you can use as well, but
Mhm. Okay. Last question. What is your favorite thing to do in your free time?
Jerk, probably.
what?
Nah, that's a joke. I don't do that.
Okay.
That's also a joke.
I don't know. That I always feel like people ask this, and it's a weird question because it's like
you can be honest.
no,
you can
okay,
be
okay,
honest.
Yeah.
no, because it's like
There isn't really like some. Usually, like I don't think most people don't have.
I mean,
like,
we know what
something
Kelly's
really.
answer is.
well, because the thing is, like, if you asked me like 2 years ago, I'd probably say running.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's not. I mean, yeah, I want to do to stay in shape, but it's not like my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just say like hanging around people, like
Yeah.
That's
just hang
valid.
out with your friends. Like, I don't. There's some really cool things I love doing. Like, I love like flying planes. Like, no one does that, but like, I like the fact that I'm able to go out and like do it and like enjoy it. Like, that's something that's really cool. Like something like that, but I still don't like. Whenever people ask that question or people answer that question, they always say think of something cool like that. You're like, oh, my favorite thing is flying planes, but it's like
But it's not like.
it's not like
Yeah.
I really enjoy it and I like doing it and I think it's cool that I get to do it, but it's not my favorite thing in the world. Like
Uh-huh.
I enjoy it, but ultimately I think pretty much everyone enjoys being around the people they like the most. Like
Yeah.
that's probably the most important thing. Like
Yeah.
just hanging around people that you value and love.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it changes. Like, I'll go through periods. Like surfing will be my favorite thing for a while, and then I'll get sick of it. And
This dude
then-
definitely has ADHD. He loves one thing and then
Yeah,
he like and then
like,
he,
I'll
then,
change.
and then he switches up like a month later.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's really hard to say, but I probably agree. Just the thing I enjoy most is just being with my friends and then doing something that I like to do. That's when I feel like I'm the happiest,
Mhm.
and just if I could do anything, it would be that. You know.
Yeah.
Fire. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thanks, Ryan.
That's a pod.
Thanks for
Appreciate
coming on,
it.
guys.
Yeah, thank you for having
We'll
us.
have to do another version and make it more explicit, like Jason and Kelly.
Dude, that's not
'Cause
like
if you,
that's not the
If you
model.
hung around us more, this is not what we normally act like or talk like at all.
No, nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to end off?
Yeah.
See you guys.
Thank you everyone for listening. If anyone's even listening at this point, I'd be really surprised. But yeah, we appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time. Well, Ryan will. We won't, but bye.
Bye.